Okay, we are going to keep going on our trigonometry unit today. So in the last video, we reviewed everything to do with SOHCAHTOA. So what we're going to talk about today, and this is where grade 11 trig goes, is what happens if you do not have a right angle triangle. So most questions that involve triangles typically don't involve a right angle triangle. So you can see here this tree. I'm assuming it grew in southern Alberta somewhere, just because, again, nothing here seems to grow in a straight angle because of our west winds. So if there's no 90-degree corner, we cannot use SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so you can't go, that looks like a 90, I'm going to assume that is, and then use SOHCAHTOA. You can't do that. So if you're not told a corner is 90 degrees, you're not allowed to assume it is 90 degrees. So we just need to talk quickly about how to label a non-right angle triangle, because we're not going to have hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent anymore. We don't use those labels in non-right triangles. So I've got here triangle ELF for ELF. Now, these letters, these represent the corners. So you always use uppercase letters on the corners. Always. So it doesn't matter which one we put where. I'm going to go E, L, F. Okay. Now, how we label the sides. Sides are always done in lowercase letters, and you go opposite the corner. So what I mean by that is opposite corner E. So this side right here, I refer to it as side E, or lowercase e. Here, opposite corner L is side L, and opposite corner F is side F. Okay, so I know some of you have said, well, can I label this side EF? Yes, that's a perfectly good way of labeling it as well. However, when we start in on our formulas, that is not the notation that's used. The notation for the formulas uses this notation. Okay, so opposite corner E is lowercase e, opposite corner L is lowercase l, and opposite corner F is lowercase f. Okay, one more thing to do with matching here is the largest angle will match the longest side. Smallest angle matches the shortest side. So for example, if I can see that angle E is going to be the biggest angle, then I already know that side E is going to be the biggest side. Okay, and knowing that relationship actually really does help you figure out if you've got the right setups in your formulas. Okay, so if I gave you this question in grade 10, given the triangle below, how could you find the length of side X? What we did in grade 10 was we found the measure of this corner right here. So we would have gone 180 minus 65 minus 31. And then you would have divided this picture into two right angle triangles. And when you would have found the side length of that. And then you would have taken this right angle triangle and found the side length of that, and then you would have added them together to get out X. So that's how you would have had to have done it, using SOHCAHTOA. Well, what I'm going to show you now is how to do this question in one step without using SOHCAHTOA. So instead of always dividing non-right triangles into two right angle triangles, we can use the following two rules that help us find missing sides and angles in non-right angle triangles. So one's called the sine law, the other one's called the cosine law. There is no tan law, don't worry about that, there's just these two. Now, also in grade 10, I wrote out the word SOHCAHTOA for you so that you wouldn't spell it wrong. Same thing here, sine law and cosine law, we give you the formulas. So you just have to know which one to use when, where to plug the numbers in, and then how to make your calculator do what you want it to do. So how do you know when to use which? Okay, so how do you know when we should use each one? Well, for sine law, we use it when we do have a matching set of information. So what I mean by that is that if you know this corner, then you also know this side. That is a matching set. Okay, so if you have a matching set of information, you use sine law. If you don't have a matching set, then we use cosine law. So it's that simple. So every time, every question that we're going to do here over the next couple of days, I'm going to say, do you have a matching set? Do you have a matching set? Do you have a matching set? And as long as you have a matching set, you're going to use sine law. So we're going to focus on sine law today, okay? So what sine law is, actually I think I skipped a slide here, just hold on a second. So here is sine law, okay? Sine law can be written in one of two ways. So A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C, or you can flip it upside down. Sine A over A, sine B over B, sine C over C. So the lowercase, those are your sides. The uppercase, those are the angles. Okay? Now notice everything is in pairs. Right? Remember, pairs happen when one is opposite the other. Okay, so you want to make sure that you get your pairs correct. Now, what we do to solve these is we actually don't use all three, we just pick any two of them. So what's going to happen with sine law, so you should see here that we have four numbers that we could plug in. So a number here, a number here, a number here, and a number here. Now, you're going to be able to plug in three of those four numbers. Once you've plugged in three of the four numbers, then what we're going to do is we're going to set up a proportion, we're going to cross multiply and divide. That's it. Now, here's the most awesome part of sine law. Sine law can actually be used on right angle triangles. Cosine law cannot. Okay, so what this tells you then is if you use this on sine law, so essentially sine law can be used whenever you have a match. It doesn't matter if you have a right angle triangle or not, okay? Which means if you can use it on right angle triangles or non-right angle triangles, you get to forget everything about SOHCAHTOA. So if you didn't really like SOHCAHTOA last year, you never have to use it again, but you do have to know sine law. So you have to pick one of those two. Sine law, it works on everything. SOHCAHTOA only works on a right angle triangle. So if I was going to pick something to learn, I'd pick sine law because I can use it everywhere. Whereas SOHCAHTOA, I can only use it on a right angle triangle. Okay, so let's just dive in and see where we go here. So first thing I want you to see is that you have a matching pair. Whoops, I'm on the wrong mode here. You have a matching pair right here. So side length 40 with the corner 32 degrees. So you have one matching pair. And then right here, you have half of a matching pair. So 39 degrees is the corner, A is the side length. So this is your full match. This is your half match. Okay? So what we do is we're going to set up a proportion. So I'm going to write sine, sine. So what I always do is I always write my full match first. So what is my full match? So my full match is side length over angle. So the side length is 40. Its matching angle is 32 degrees. Okay? And then in the other half of the fraction, or in the proportion, I do my half match. So my half match, again, side length on top, angle on the bottom. So the side length is A, my angle is 39 degrees. Okay? So I filled in three numbers into four spots. Okay, so of the four spots, I put in three numbers. Now this is what I'm looking for. Okay, so full match, half match. So the way we solve these is we're going to go cross multiply and divide. So just like with SOHCAHTOA, you always multiply that does not have the letter. So the cross multiply is the one without the letter. So that is our cross multiply right there. So on your calculator, you're going to go 40 times. Now, do not hit second because you're not looking for an angle. So sine 39, finish off that bracket. So you've cross multiplied, and then you divide by the one left over. Finish off the bracket. Now, on your page, this is your setup. This is what I need to see. I don't need to see the words full and half. I just need to see that setup. You don't need to highlight it. You don't need to draw the bubble. You just need to plunk the numbers in. I do not need to see this. That's just something that you're doing. Now, let's go to calculator. So again, first things first, make sure it's in degree mode. So hit the mode key, make sure the word degree is highlighted, which it is. Okay, so I'm going to cross multiply and divide. So I'm going to go 40 times sine 39, finish off the bracket. If you don't finish off the bracket, it will be wrong. Divided by sine 32. Finish off the bracket. So you get 47.5. We'll just round it to the nearest tenth. And there was no units here, so it didn't say centimeters or anything. Now, one thing you can do to check to see that you did it right, do you see how 39 degrees is bigger than 32 degrees? So since this is the bigger angle, we expect this side to be bigger than that side. Okay, so the bigger the angle, the bigger the side. So you can use that as a gauge to see if you've plugged it in right. Okay, so that's sine law. Cross multiply, divide. Full match, half match. Okay, so sometimes you're given a word description instead of just a picture. So in these cases, we have to read the question carefully and put all the right numbers into all the right spots. So a triangle has angles measuring 80 and 55. So don't worry about which one you put where. I'm just going to put the 80 here, and I'll put the 55 here. So just put them wherever you want. The side opposite the 80 is 12.0 meters. Determine the length of the side opposite 55. Whoops, so I'm going to call this one X. So, full match, half match. So do you have a matching pair? Yes. There's your full matching pair. And then here is your half of a match. So you have the angle, but you do not have the side. So I like to write full half. So remember, side lengths go on top, the angles go on the bottom. So my full match has a side length of 12.0 with a matching angle of 80 degrees. My half match has a side length of X and a matching angle of 55 degrees. Okay, so this is what I need to see on your page, right here. So on your calculator, you're going to cross multiply and divide. So again, what you choose to multiply is the one that does not have the letter. So this is the diagonal that does not have the letter. So on your calculator, you're going to go 12 times sine 55, finish off that bracket, divide by sine 80. So again, you're not hitting second because again, we're not looking for an angle, we're looking for a side length. So we're going to go 12 times sine 55, finish off the bracket, divided by sine 80. Okay, hit enter. So we get 9.98. So I'm going to round it to 10.0 meters because it says nearest tenth of a meter. So again, notice 55 is smaller than 80, so then this side should be smaller than that side, and it is. Okay? Okay, let's try this one. Determine the measure of angle R. Okay, so I'm looking for the measure of this one right here. So full match, half match. So here is a full match right here. Here is a half match right here. Okay, so you've got the side but not the angle. The other one you've got the side and the angle. So your full match is side length over angle. So full match. Your half match, side length over angle. Now I'm going to just use the letter R. If you want to use theta, right? So if you want to use the theta symbol, you're welcome to. But the word sine has to be there, okay? Because remember, it's sine law, so you have to have the word sine written in there. Okay, so how do we solve this? So again, this is your setup. So this is what I need to see on your page. So cross multiply and divide. So remember, the cross multiply is the one that does not have the X on it, or does not have the letter. So we can see we have our letter with the sign R. So this is the diagonal that does not have the letter. So that's what I multiply. It doesn't matter what order you do it in. So if I go sine 42, finish off that bracket, times 12.5, and then divide by 18. Then you're going to hit enter. So I'm going to go sine 42 times 12.5 divided by 18. So sine 42, finish off the bracket, times 12.5 divided by 18. Now, at this step, you're always going to get out a 0 point something. Okay? Now that angle R does not measure 0 point something. So then you have to do a second step. Now remember, this time we're looking for an angle. So in SOHCAHTOA, whenever we were looking for an angle, we went second sine or second cos or second tan. So that's what you have to do here now. So you're going to go second sine, because it's sine law, and then you're going to plunk this answer into here. So you do not round it, you use the ANS key. So let me show you. So with that answer displayed, let me make sure I've got it plugged in right. Yep. So now you're going to go second sine, and then you go second, and then hit the negative key because that's where the ANS is. Finish off the bracket, hit enter. So that angle measures 27.7, so I'm just going to round it to 28 degrees. So angle R is 28 degrees. Now, if we just do a quick peek at this, let me just, okay. So notice this side length is smaller than this side length. Okay, so since this one is smaller than this, then this angle should be smaller than that. Okay, because remember they match. So this is the bigger pair, this is a smaller pair. So then I'm expecting angle R to be smaller than 42, and it is. So when we're looking for an angle, there's two steps when you're looking for an angle. When you're looking for a side length, it's just one step, cross multiply and divide. Okay, so this one's a little tricky. Okay, so we're looking for side X. So again, we need a full match and we need a half match. So a full match is right here. So side length over sine 38. Now for my half match, so here's the problem. Here, I do not have a half. I don't have X, and I don't have its matching angle. For the other one, this is my half. However, this is my half, which means I need to find this angle right here. Okay, now that's not what this question asked me to find. It asked me to find X. So sometimes with this, you guys, you have to find stuff first before you can get to the final step. So what I have to do is I have to find this corner here, because again, my formula is full and half. So my half is 13.4 over sine, I'm just going to call it theta. Okay? So cross multiply and divide. So, whoops, cross multiply. So my diagonal that does not have the letter, so my letter is theta. So this is the diagonal that does not have theta. So again, this is what I need to see on your page. No, you don't have to show me the highlighting. So you're going to go 13.4 times sine 38, finish off the bracket, divide by 8.5. You're going to get out an answer. And then because you're looking for an angle, you have to go second sine ANS. So we're going to go 13.4 times sine 38 divided by 8.5. And again, we get out that 0 point, which is exactly what we should happen. Second sine ANS. We get out 76 degrees. So this corner right here is 76 degrees. Now, I'm still looking for side x. So now, look what's happened now. I have a full match, I have a full match, and you're still going to be like, yeah, but I don't have a half match here. Ah, but remember, what do the corners in a triangle add up to? They add up to 180. So if I go 180 minus 76 minus 38. So 180 minus 76 minus 38. So that corner now is 66 degrees. So now do I have a half match? Yes. So now you have full match, half match. So remember, your half match is x over sine 66. Now, how many full matches do you have? You got two. You got the green one and the yellow one. It does not matter which one you pick. Okay, it doesn't matter. You're going to get the same answer regardless. So I'm just going to go with the one that I was originally given in the question. But again, it does not matter which one you pick. Okay, so we go back to cross multiply divide. So we're going to multiply the one that does not have the letter. So there's the letter x. So my diagonal runs that way. So on my calculator, I'm going to go 8.5 times sine 66, finish off the bracket, divide by sine 38, finish off the bracket. Now, this is going to be done in one step. I don't have to go second sine because I'm not looking for an angle, I'm looking for a side length. So it's just this one step and then you're done. So it's 8.5 times sine 66 divided by sine 38. And we get out 12.6. So x is 12.6. Now if we just look here, 76 was the biggest corner, so that is the biggest side. 38 is the smallest corner, so 8.5 is the smallest side. 66 is between, it's the middle, and sure enough, our side length is between 8.5 and 13.4. Okay, so this was a big question, but again, you just have to ask yourself, full pair, half pair, full pair, half pair, and just cross multiply, divide, and keep going until there's nothing left to do. Okay, so let's look at this one. Toby uses chains attached to hooks on the ceiling and a winch to lift engines at his father's garage. The chains, the winch, and the ceiling are arranged as shown. Toby solved the triangle using the sine law to determine the angle that each chain makes with the ceiling to the nearest degree. He claims that theta equals 40 degrees. So he thinks this one equals 40. Now this little symbol here is called alpha, is 54 degrees. Is he correct? Explain and make any necessary corrections. Okay, so what I want you to be able to see first, is you should be able to see that this is a non-right angle triangle. Okay, and then you should also see that you have a full pair right here. So there's your full. So let's look for this guy first. Let's just start with this one. It doesn't matter which one you start with, I just picked that. So I'm going to go full match. So side length over angle. And then side length over angle. Okay, and I'm going to see if it equals 40 degrees. So again, cross multiply and divide. So my diagonal without the letter is this one. Okay. Oops. So on my calculator, I am going to go 2.2 times sine 86. And then divide by 2.8. I should get out a 0 point number, which I do, 0.783. Now because I'm looking for the angle, I go second sine, and then I take that answer. Hit enter, and I get out 51.6. Oh, Toby made a mistake. So it's actually 51.6 or 52 degrees. Now, Do I have to use sine law again to find the third one? No. You know the corners of a triangle have to add up to 180. So if I go 180 minus 86 minus that 52 that I just found, then alpha is going to equal, so 180 minus 86 minus 52, I get out 42 degrees. So Toby screwed up. He got both theta and alpha wrong. Okay, who knows what mistake he made? Maybe he got the 2.2 and the 2.8 backwards. Maybe he didn't use the right matching pair. Who knows? Okay. Okay, last one. So the question says solve the triangle. So in grade 10, we talked about if the question says solve, what does that mean? It means find everything that's missing. So you will always be given 3, and you will always have to find 3. So there's always going to be 6 things. Think about it, 3 corners, 3 sides. Okay, 3 angles, 3 sides. So I'm going to give you a combination of 3 things. So in this case, I gave you 2 side lengths and a corner. You have to find 3. So I'm just going to label them. I'm going to label that corner theta. I'm going to label this corner alpha. You can use X and Y, it doesn't matter. You don't have to use fancy symbols. And I'm going to label this side X. Okay? Now, one other thing that I haven't mentioned yet. So again, SOHCAHTOA is off the table because you do not have a right angle triangle. Guess what else is off the table? Pythagoras. Pythagoras and SOHCAHTOA only work on right angle triangles. So even though you've got 13 and 8, and it would be really tempted to go 13 squared equals 8 squared plus x squared, that would be wrong. Okay, you cannot use that. Okay, so all we have in our disposal right now is sine law. So full match. Do you have a full match? Right here. So I have a full match of 13 over sine 79. Now, do I have a half match? I have a half match right here. So then that means then I need to go 8 over sine alpha. Now, that is the only thing I can do. So in grade 10, there was multiple ways of solving those questions, and sometimes you will have options with these ones, but for this one specifically, this is the only thing that you could do to start off, simply because you only have one full match and one half match. Okay, so there's our setups. That's what I want to see on your page. So cross multiply and divide. So cross multiply the one without the letter. So that one does not have the letter. Remember, your letter's right there at alpha. So on your calculator, you're going to go 8 times sine 79, or sine 79 times 8 divided by 13. So sine 79 times 8 divided by 13. And again, make sure that bracket is finished off after the 79. You should get out a 0-point number, which is what you do. Because I'm looking for an angle, I go second sine ANS. And I get out 37.2 degrees. So I'm just going to round that to 37 degrees. Okay? Now, what I can do is I know 2 corners of my triangle, so finding the third one's pretty simple. I'm going to go 180 minus 37 minus 79, and that will get me out theta. And I get out 64 degrees. Okay? So now all I have left to do is find x. So I still have my full match, 13 over sine 79. By the way, you have another full match now. You've got the 8 and sine 37, so you're welcome to do that. So that's your full. Your half, this is now your half. So your half is x over sine 64. So again, cross multiply. Cross multiply the one that does not have the x. So this is the one that does not have the x. So on my calculator, I'm going to go 13 times sine 64 divided by sine 79. So 13 times sine 64 divided by sine 79. Now I'm looking for a side length. So this is the only step you have to do. You do not have to go second. You get out 11.9. Now if we just do a quick little check here, okay? So this was the biggest angle. It has the biggest side. This was the smallest angle. It has the smallest side. This is the middle-sized angle. It's got the middle-sized side. Okay? So sine law, okay? You have to have one matching pair and one more element from another pair. So if you have this one and this one, okay, then you either have to have this one and you're looking for that, or vice versa. Okay, so you have to have one full and one half. Okay. Now again, it does work with sine law. It does work with a right angle triangle. So if I just did one here really quickly, actually, let's say this is 38 degrees. Let's say this is x. Let's say this is 12. Okay. So what you would do for sine law on this is that here's your one full pair. Here's your half. So you would go 12 over sine 38 equals x over sine 90. And the same thing, you would cross multiply and divide, and you would get out the side x. So you would do that instead of SOHCAHTOA. Okay, and it does work. It works beautifully. So if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. Otherwise, make sure you do try these questions. This is brand new for all of you. You've never used this formula before. So keep the notes beside you so you know what buttons to push when, and make sure you always show your setups. See you in the next video.